Alrighty, let's talk about your true north. I'm going to be using a few different decks today. The Heavenly Bodies, guess I could. The Heavenly Bodies astrology deck. The Open Portals. This Past Lives Oracle, although I'm not using it to look into your past life, I just like the archetypes. And then maybe this Hermetic Tarot, if we need it. The groups will be determined by the Past Life Oracle cards. And we'll have 3. Okay. Group number 1, looking into your true north. Group number 2, then group number 3. Oh. Okay, so group number 1, saintly, philanthropist, caretaker, martyr, savior, or hero. Group number 2, accomplishment, achiever, celebrity, failure, competitor. And group number 3, poverty, lower class, dispossessed, beggar, famine. Interesting. One, 2, 3. And we'll begin with group number 1. So group number 1, saintly. What is your true north? Oh. What? Okay. So we have air, open-mindedness, objectivity, and learning. As well as Scorpio, intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing. Air. Clarify air. The 9 of clubs. Portal for the unraveling. Scorpio. Oh, that's too many. That's too many. That's pretty intense. Classic Scorpio. Just Okay, I'm going to take this open face one. Definitely intense. Got another 9. Oops, that's upside down. Portal for the withering. Too many. Rebel. Nonconformist, activist, revolutionary, anarchist. Ay. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. First and foremost, in your own life, it is your purpose at this time to close out cycles, to realize that you are at the end and it's time to flow with the beginning. There may be a lot of people attached to you at this time, to whom you are a martyr, a savior, a hero, or a caretaker. You are very self-sacrificial. You give all too much energy to others, to projects, to things outside of you. You give more to others than you do to yourself. It is time to flow with the changes and chart a new course. To let everything unravel. If you're holding on too tightly to any one thing, it's time to let it go and let it unravel. To create change. This is what you're being called to do right now at this time. Because yes, there is something very saintly about you, and it is part of your North Node or your destiny to do this for the world. You are a hero of sorts. But right now all of your powers are trapped and contained within this time capsule in the past that's carried on into the present. It's time to save yourself and move forward so that you can save the world. Do this on a grander scale for various communities. So your North Node, what it is you are meant to do is to create a new path, to be a pioneer, go against the grain, bring down the systems, because underneath it there is something that longs to breathe. You are meant to take whatever is an established structure, completely bring it down, demolish it down, let it wither, because underneath it there is a magic, and there is a peace that exists underneath all things, all structures. It is your job to see that and to make that happen. It's just take school for example. It's an established structure. Students are in a class, seated in a grid formation. The bell rings. They can go to lunch. The bell rings, they gotta come back. The bell rings, they can go play. The bell rings, they gotta come back. They gotta raise their hand because they want to go take a piss. It is an established structure, and it kind of sucks the magic out of these individuals, these learners. It is ironic because it is meant to open their mind and teach them, or that's the idea of school anyway. But there is something about the rigid structure of school, for example, that is very confining, that is stunting the actual magic and individuality of each student and the collective body of students. So this is just an example, but it is in you, it's always been in you, and therefore it is your purpose to go to these establishments and zero in on the flaws and the things about that establishment that are confining or outdated or archaic. It is your job to see what it is that needs to be demolished so that you may bring it down, because underneath it there does exist this inherent beauty, this magic, this freedom. There is so much beauty in the world, and you may be a person who doesn't really focus on the beauty. It's not that you don't appreciate it. It's that you just have an eye for the flaws, because it's always been your purpose to see the flaws and to fix them, to see what is there that needs to come down and bring it down, so that there is freedom, so that there is magic that is able to breathe and come to the surface, be unleashed. This is what you do. This is your true north. This is what you were always meant to do. In this way, you are a saint, but not in the conventional way. You are more appropriately a rebel, an activist, a revolutionary, a nonconformist, an anarchist. You are meant to breathe ideas and life into things so that they are new, so that there is a path forward, a new age, a new era that all begins with you. You share what it is you know, whether that is your religion or philosophy or ideology or skill. This is the saint work. This is the savior, the hero that you are. This is how you operate. And it is quite like a self-sacrificing thing, because people won't regard you as like the saint for what you do. They'll only see the rebel on the outside, the anarchist. That's how people on the outside will view you, but who you are and what you're doing is saintly work. You have a wild intensity, and you are not like the conventional saint. You don't look like one at all. People who know you best and who have known you for a long time recognize that in you, and they always will. But to the world, you are meant to be seen as a rebel. Somebody who demolishes the structure, because underneath it you see something really beautiful that's been trying to grow. The new. You are a leader of the new generation. You fixate on the flaws, and you find a way to fix shit. This is who you are. This is what you've always done in your life, and this is your true north. This is where you are headed. This is your destiny. Let's see if the Hermetic Tarot wants to add anything. Group 1, the Rebel Saint. What can you add to this? We've got the Devil, the Three of Cups, and the Eight of Swords. As in, the Lord of the gates of matter. And this is how people see you, not as the devil, but you're just a very ironic kind of saint. You're an ironic kind of angel. It's almost like on the outside what it is that you do looks like the devil's work, because you do have a way of creating chaos. But it's because you need to disrupt the order of things, because they're not the actual natural order of things. They are an imposed order. You're here to create chaos here in the gates of matter, or the world of the material. You destroy. You destroy in order to create beautiful things, and you bring people together. You defy the laws of society and the norm. You go against it, and it brings many different types of people together. The Lord of Abundance. You have a way of bringing equality to the world, to all people. Things like money and class divisions and the things that separate us here in this world of matter or the material, you're here to change that paradigm, to make it so that there are no more class structures. There's no such thing as a hierarchy. There's nobody who sits on a throne while there is another who lives on the streets. Not in the world that you are destined to create. Eight of Swords, or the Lord of Shortened Force. Freeing people. Anybody who has ever felt held back, anybody who ever struggled with, for example, a learning disability, or anybody who ever struggled because they didn't have enough money, or anybody who ever struggled because they didn't fit in, anybody who was ever trapped in their own mind because of the outside reality and what it projected onto them, you're here to remove those chains and blockages. All people in your vicinity, all people affected by you and what it is that you do, are freed. They experience a mental freedom, and they're able to practice mind over matter because of you and the work that you do. Rebel Saint. Here to end the old and bring in the new, usher in the new. You are the leader of a new generation. Air and water, air and Scorpio. To me, air and water equals time travel, or shifting dimensions, or coasting different timelines, taking people to a whole new timeline. You transport people from the here and now, whatever dismal thing it is, and you take them to a new timeline. Time travel. You shoot humanity way forward evolutionarily. And you teach people how to travel outside of the timeline they're in into a new one. You have a way of manipulating matter and the matter of all things. And you are not meant to fit in. And that might be a downside, perhaps, that you might experience, because the fact of the matter is you're not meant to fit in any one place, because your purpose is to enter a place, demolish the structure, free the people, and then move on to the next place that requires this from you. This is the life that you will live. Of course, when you believe your job is done, of course there's such a thing as settling and having peace and stability if that's what you want. Sure, it's all in your hands. But for a large chunk of your life, your purpose is going to be to move from place to place, create change. And little by little, the whole world will evolve because of this. No more hierarchies, no more rich versus poor. Things that ever distinguished us from each other, race, gender, whatever, no more. Everyone's equal, and you've always seen it that way, and you've always known that for a reason. You were meant to externalize that for the world to know it as well and experience it, embody it as well. You are a rebel saint. I wonder if you have your North Node in air, like Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, otherwise in Scorpio. And then perhaps Capricorn. Okay, so I'm going to move on to group 2. Okay, so group 2, accomplishment. Ooh, look at these lines. All right. Achiever, celebrity, failure, competitor. What are we talking about here? Group 2, accomplishment. Chiron, hurt and heal, as well as Earth, persistent, patient, practical. Chiron, Four of Spades, portal for the mountain. Earth, Six of Hearts, portal for the soulmate. Group 2. What is your North Node? Wow! It's the same. Ritual sacrifice. So, not to take these words like literally, ritual priest, cannibal, human sacrifice, headhunter. Obviously that's not your purpose, but let's see what this means like symbolically. Very interesting. Wow. Okay. So right now at this time, that's better. You are going through your period of Chiron, which is deep healing of a lifetime's worth of hurt and pain and suffering. This is the point in your life right now where you are healing from that. And it's a very important phase because once you're done with this form of healing, it shoots you straight into. So you are just about embarking upon your North Node. You have dealt with a lot of very confusing energies. You have been very much in your life oppressed and even trapped by systems or like family or friends. There's been like a trap and a veil that's been put over your eyes. But your foundation has always been so strong, who it is that you are. And it's so much like you're waking up from like a spiritual slumber. You were meant to be known for your accomplishments and your achievements. You were meant to bring in a lot of wealth. Like, I don't know about celebrity, but something along those lines. Like, you are meant to be very, very well known and to have things come straight toward you after this point in your life. You are like at the top of the mountain. There's your fingerprint. You've already been there. It's where you've been your whole life. It's a foundation that nobody can shake. It's always been that way. And you are like a soulmate to everybody that you've ever met. Something about your soul and your being resonates with everybody. Everybody can feel you and all the different parts of you. That's what makes you so well known. But who it is that you are as a figure, as a renowned figure, is something different to everybody. You're not just known for one thing. You're not just like a dancer, and you're not just like an artist, and you're not just like a scientist. There's no label. Everybody who knows you, everybody who's been touched or moved by you and what you put out, sees you as something different, has experienced a different side of you. You may have dealt with a lot of like cannibal energy, or people who are just like the energy of people who are just constantly trying to consume you and take from you and even be you, become you. Take your gifts, take everything that is you, that glows and shines and always has. You have dealt with a lot of like cannibal or like vampiric energy. It's because you have a really bright light. A really bright light and a really strong foundation and a strength that people want to own. It's your purpose, and that's what you're doing right now, and you're just about done breaking free from those chains so that you can move on to do what it is that you do. What is it that you do? Portal for the soulmate. What is it that you do? You'll be well known, you'll be famous, you'll be wealthy, you will touch the lives of everybody who comes like anywhere near you or views you on a TV screen or something. The 9 of Cups, material happiness, yeah. It's your purpose to be wealthy, like literally wealthy, abundant, and happy. The Chariot, more water, and then the 4 with the Cancer in the 4th house. The Triumph of light. And the Wheel of Fortune, the forces of life. This is very interesting. There's like something I can't reach because it's not something I know of or have ever heard of, but you do. You have like a sacred awareness or the sacred wisdom of something really secret going on in our world. It may very well be things like human sacrifice and ritual abuse and things that are very dark and intense. You might already have an awareness of these things, something very, very deep that's going on in our world, like the forces of life that surround us that even the majority of the people out here don't know. You have been affected by it very much, either in your research of it or a direct exposure to it, but there's something like very, very deep, secret, covert, almost like cult energy that you know very well or understand very well or see very well. And you have like somehow embodied the pain of that group of people, and you are just about healing from it, or you have found a way to heal from it. But your purpose is to bring light to this situation for the whole world to know what's going on. You are here as somebody who is a truth, you are a truth speaker and a truth spreader. You bring knowledge that is way in the depths, hiding in the caverns of our world, and bring it to the surface and shed light on it so everybody can see that darkness, that evil that exists. You free people who have been in situations like this or are still in these situations somehow. You bring justice, you bring truth, you bring what's in the dark to the light for the whole world to see it and create like a revolution out of it. You have such a strong awareness of something that I think even I can't like reach exactly what it is. But it's something that, if you've gone around telling people about it, for the most part, you have been labeled like a conspiracy theorist or a crazy person or something, because there is a cognitive dissonance and the people don't know that this is happening, and B, even if they were aware of it, they would immediately block it out because they couldn't handle the burden of knowing such a deep, dark truth of our world. You are somebody who knows it. And you are somebody who will bring it to the light, and you will be known for it. For that and for any kind of forces of life that surround us that are negative, parasitic, that are harvesting like human energy somehow. You have dealt with this directly, or you have just learned very much about it, because your destiny is that you are a truth seeker, a truth seer, and a truth speaker. Seeker, seer, and speaker of truth. And yeah, you will be wealthy for this. Somehow, like you will be sponsored and funded by like a whole group of light seers and light bringers just like you, who can't speak the way that you do about truth, who need you and your voice and your sight to share this. You will be heavily like taken care of and funded by a whole group of light warriors just like you. You will create something like a portal for soulmates. A place where people can go and find solace and peace near you and in the communities that you've been able to create for people who have dealt with such dark energies that nobody would believe, and they sound crazy to the rest of the world, but they're not, and you know it. Wow. This is your true north. This is your destiny. At some point in your life, you will be doing this somehow, and you will be recognized for it. And this is in this way you vanquish the demons, like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer energy. It could even be that it's not even in the 3D reality. It could be that there is a version of you in another dimension that is constantly fighting demons or darkness in a way that's helping and affecting us here in the physical world that we're not even aware of, that maybe you right now are not even aware of you're doing this. Pretty soon you'll be doing it in the 3D with your own hands, with your own physical body. It will come to your awareness, but maybe you know it or maybe you don't, but in other dimensions somehow, you are a light warrior and you vanquish the dark, the evil, the demons that have a way of getting in that we human beings can't see with our own eyes, so most of us don't even realize that's what's happening. You may not even realize it right now, but you're just about to come into that awareness. Dang. You're fighting wars in other dimensions, and you're vanquishing evil. And at some point in this life, in this reality, you will be doing it in the 3D somehow. You will be educating the public on what it is you've seen and done, so that they too can do it for themselves and for the world. You can create like an army of people out here who are all doing this, so that you're not the only one anymore. Wow. I wonder what that means to you. And if like I was able to like get it to make sense, because this seems like beyond even my like what I can fathom. But that's your North Node. You may have a North Node in Cancer, Sagittarius, otherwise Earth, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Okay, amazing. And now I'm going to move on to group 3. Okay, so group 3, we've got poverty. Lower class, dispossessed, beggar, famine. Ah. Who are you? Mutable house 1. I'll remember that. How funny. Well, okay, so we've got your North Node is your South Node, destined to release. As well as square, a challenging situation and a mountain to climb. This is your true north. Poverty. Do one more time. South node. Ten of Spades, portal for the living. square. Oh! Hold up. Square. Let's see. Hey. Portal for the red moon. The 9 of diamonds. Actually, I believe it goes this way. Gotta make it straight. South node destined to release square. The red moon. What two? Beauty. That's interesting. Oh, sorry. Beauty. Town beauty, femme fatale. Struggles with appearance, prostitute. Obviously, these are not literal. I'm just taking the symbolic energy. So, in your own life, something that you may have experienced is this deep-seated feeling like you don't belong, or that you're not good enough, or that you're not beautiful, handsome, smart, strong. You may have experienced this your whole life, that you are of a lower class in every way. Deep insecurity. It may have been a major theme of your life. Furthermore, you may have been surrounded by people or communities where anytime you did exude beauty, or you did work on yourself, or share your intellect, your gorgeousness, even your money, if you hit points of like having it, anytime you did share outward the things about you that were incredible and amazing, you were labeled something for it because people wanted to take away that credit from you. They didn't want you to shine. So, for example, prostitute, not literally, but this is like an example, the energy of a woman who's very beautiful. And anytime she, I don't know, decides to put on eyeliner or leave her hair down for a day, she accidentally exudes way more beauty than even she meant to. So the people around her will clap back and say things like, all she wants is attention, oh, she's a prostitute, and things like this. Because they couldn't handle it, they couldn't handle their own insecurity, so they projected it onto you. Similarly, if you were like a male growing up and you experienced way too much competition from other males who were meant to be your friends, you were often scapegoated, or not, like, maybe you were very athletic, but anytime you externalize that or showed it, or like made the team or were named captain of the team, instead of getting the credit of your friends experienced jealousy, or they called you like a show off, or overly boastful, or overly cocky, arrogant, when you were just being yourself, and accidentally it was just natural for you to shine really bright and do really well. So this kind of like push and pull may be something that you have experienced, feeling really insecure but not knowing why, because you inherently didn't have a reason to be insecure. It's just that the people around you were very insecure and projected a horrible list of things onto you just to bring you down, and at some point it worked. So your job right now, your destiny, your fate at this point in time is to release this. Anything about you that makes you feel small, anything that makes you feel weak, anything that makes you feel like you can't just be yourself and you have to like bring down your light because you don't want to come off in a way that's going to irritate other people because they're not you and they wish that they were or something. You are meant to release this. Because you are meant to go to a whole other place, a whole other level, and even be a way more evolved version of yourself in a way that you couldn't do here because the people couldn't handle it. They wouldn't be able to handle it. They would try to snuff out that light. You belong like on a whole other different planet where you will be appreciated for everything that you are, around other people who are of that high caliber just like you, in an ocean of people who don't experience jealousy, fear, resentment, bitterness, projections onto you. So that's the first thing. Your purpose right now is to release anything and everybody and every place that ever made you feel small. You're meant to enter the portal of the living, as in living, as they say, living your best life. This is what you're meant to do at this time. But further down the line, your actual like true north and your destiny and what it is that you are meant to do and to be is to help other people in this situation climb these kind of tall mountains. People who have developed like a negative ego version of themselves and who have been programmed to see themselves negatively, who feel dispossessed, like beggars, like failures, living in famine, not getting enough. It is your job to help lift those people up and take them to where it is that they belong. To teach them that actually it's a product of their environment. It's not inherent, it's not biological, it's environmental. To help people in this way that you were able to help yourself or that you seem to be doing right now. And that's one thing. But another thing, and this is why your true north is so challenging, is because yes, you help people mentally and emotionally find their own strength and stability to overcome whatever environmental shit is blocking them and keeping them down so that they can move on and move forward into their own life, into a world that would appreciate them where they belong, yes. But also to go to places where environmentally, it's not just about projections, but literally poverty. Going to places where there's such a thing as like, this orphan is really sticking out to me. Maybe you have like a really strong caretaker, like mother or father energy. So maybe you raise children who don't have parents. I think that a big part of your destiny and your true north is to like lead an orphanage or create an orphanage. And just be there as a caretaker, a nourisher, a parent for people who run the risk of feeling very insecure and very in lack their whole lives because they didn't have parental figures. A teacher or somebody who runs an orphanage in a way is somebody who works especially with children who have been abandoned, whether literally or like emotionally, physically, somehow abandoned. You are meant to raise those people and instill them with confidence and love and show them what love and inspiration looks like. to be a cheerleader for those people, to help them grow into healthy, strong, confident individuals the way that you had to learn how to do for yourself. You will be able to help other people, especially children growing formative minds, do this at an early age so that they don't have to deal with everything that you had to deal with. You kind of help them with that very early on so that they develop always knowing their shine and being free to share it outward, knowing where they belong or where the energy is off so that they can leave and find their own place. Like a teacher in a way, or like somebody who runs an orphanage or works with children who run the risk of feeling lack their whole lives. Lacking in beauty, lacking in strength, lacking in mind, heart, spirit, whatever. Lacking food, lacking nourishment, resources, whatever it is. Like you help not just fill a void, but reprogram these individuals to grow, whereas they were growing crooked in a negative direction. You teach them how to grow straight up, strong and tall and proud. You help the formative minds form into something very strong very early on. Two of Swords. The Lord of Peace restored. Peace restored. I'll say. Five of Cups. The loss of pleasure. Queen of Swords. Yeah. Strong Libra energy with Two of Swords and Queen of Swords, and then we've got Scorpio in the center here. Ooh, air pockets. Yeah, some kind of a teacher, some kind of a, or even like a counselor or advisor, a leader, some kind of a very strong caretaker. And the way that you nourish people, children especially, you have a way of restoring their peace. You have a way of taking any form of lack, sorrow, pain, poverty energy, spiritual poverty or literal poverty, mental, emotional. It is your purpose to take these individuals at a young age and care for them and lead them. Restore the living. Give them peace so they can feel alive again. Take all of their sadness, their sorrow. Teach them again that life is full of love and pleasure, and if they exist in an environment that makes them feel in lack of it, it's not them, it's their environment. Who they are is very strong and was meant to be strong. Everybody's got a purpose. You teach this to them. You are a very strong leader and speaker, healer, counselor, teacher, especially to children. You teach them how to shine. You show them that they're beautiful. You protect them from the harshness of the world. You have a way of like preserving even their innocence, so that it remains their whole lives, this purity of soul. You can preserve like the innocence of each individual. Kind of like, Catcher in the Rye. His greatest, Holden Caulfield, who's the protagonist, his greatest dream, he said when he grows up, like what he would want his dream job to be, would be to just stand there supervising in a rye over a hill and watch the children playing as they play, and anytime a children is about to fall off the cliff, he would be the one there to catch them. It's symbolic of the fact that he wants to be there to save the children and preserve their innocence. He doesn't want them to be like shattered by the harshness of life and society, crushed by other people's lack mentality that they project onto children as they do. Very much like Holden Caulfield energy. The Catcher in the Rye. This is what, like, at some point in your life, it is your destiny to do this. It might be something you've already been doing by accident without realizing it. You have a way of working with children that is incredible. You have a way of giving back to them whatever was taken from their environment. You have a way of preserving the purity of their soul and the strength of their mind and heart. This is what you do. This is what you do best. It is your destiny to do this. Okay, so I hope that that's helpful. I wonder what all of this means to you. Please feel free to leave a comment. And I think that'll do. Thank you.